Hello, welcome to Luke Talks Football. I'm back again talking about the Premier League, and in this video, I'm going to be telling you one transfer that each Premier League club should be making this summer to make their team a lot better. If you like the content, be sure to give this video a like, be sure to comment. Let me know in the comments anything else you'd like to see and what other video ideas you would like to see on this channel. Anyways, let's dive in. We're going to do this in alphabetical order for ease. First of all, AFC Bournemouth. Now, they have literally just lost Dominic Solanke to Spurs. So, easy one this. They need a striker, and their striker should be Jonathan David. He got 19 goals in Ligue 1 last season. Very good striker, one who is interested in leaving Lille as well. And yeah, I think he'd really complement Bournemouth's style, their possession play, their attacking play. Jonathan David can kind of do it all to a very good level, and I think he'd be a really good signing for Bournemouth. Next up is Arsenal. Now, I know this player looks like he's going to Chelsea, but I think they'd benefit so much from getting Victor Osimhen. He is a proper centre forward, and that is what Arsenal lack. Yes, Kai Havertz can do a job. Yes, Gabriel Jesus can do a job, but they can't do that world-class finishing job. You know, that poacher, someone who just does something out of nowhere when you really need it. And I just think that's what Arsenal are lacking, that goal scorer like a Harry Kane who you know can just do something unpredictable when the club really need it. And with all them attackers around him like Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, Osimhen's going to get goals. He's a proven bagsman, 15 goals in 25 Serie A appearances last season. He'd be class for Arsenal. After that, Aston Villa. Now, I think they need a right back. Matty Cash is kind of past it. I think they should sell Matty Cash. He's clearly not favoured as well by Unai Emery. I think they should be looking at Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan. Now, the player has been linked to Man United. He kind of wants to leave Inter Milan. He only will sign a new deal at Inter Milan after the transfer window is completed. So basically, I think what's happening there is if he can't get a move, he will commit his future, but he is going to keep his future open for the time being whilst the transfer window is open. Dumfries has European experience, Champions League experience, which a lot of Villa players don't have, and he's a very good attacking and defensive fullback. He brings it all for Villa there. If he comes into their team, he'd be such a good signing. Moving on to Brentford. Now, I think they need to sort out their right back position as well. I've kind of looked into Brentford. They love their Danish players, so why not have Danish international Alexander Barr? Now, he is very good, as I said, a Danish international, currently also playing in the Danish league, 26 years old. I think he'd be a really good option for them. Hickey has become a bit too unreliable for them, and they just need more quality there, and I think this player could provide it for them. Of course, I think Brentford do need a few more positions. Them signing Fabio Carvalho is a class signing. I would have probably put an attacker for them to sign or a midfielder, but I just thought this fullback spot is needed a little bit more. Again, now another right back, and I think that's what Brighton need. I think that's kind of their missing piece. I don't know if their starting 11 is perfect, but right back is definitely what they're missing. And someone who would suit their new style, suit their new manager perfectly is Kyle Walker-Peters. Now, obviously, he's at the Premier League with Southampton. I do think he'll stay there. But I think he's a bit better than a relegation fighting team. I think he's definitely a mid-table Premier League player minimum. He can maybe even be better than that. So it'll be really interesting. But I think Brighton would be perfect place for him to be. After that now, Chelsea. Now, what do you do with Chelsea? They've signed 35 players in 2 years. However, I do still think they have one really big issue, and that is their left wing. I really don't rate it. Sterling's not good enough. He's looking to go. They're linked to João Felix. Doesn't make sense to me. They've obviously missed out on that striker from Atletico Madrid as well. So it's really interesting there to see what they do. However, I think they should head to Serie A, get a left winger, and I think that left winger should be Rafael Leão. Now, he is top quality. His Euros wasn't as good as expected, but he is so good for AC Milan. Chelsea just don't have that depth, in my opinion, at left wing, that top depth. And if they want to get battling in the Champions League in, they need players like Rafael Leão, who's won the league, been in the Champions League, and he is a top dribbler, top player. He'd really suit them right now. Moving on, I am going to my club, Crystal Palace, and I think this is before, by the way, this video is recorded before Gay's gone anywhere, Eze's gone anywhere. None of them have gone anywhere. Only Elise has gone at the moment at the time of recording. So I really think we need a cover fullback. Mitchell and Munoz are class, but we don't have replacements for them who are good enough should we need them. That's why I think Crystal Palace should be looking at the left back, Archie Brown. Now, he is 22 years old. He's English, playing in the Belgian league at the moment. He has really exciting potential. Wouldn't be expected to come straight into the side, but he'd fill in so well for Mitchell, a very attacking fullback as well, who can also defend. That's exactly what we need. For me, Everton desperately need a right back. Seamus Coleman is past it. Ashley Young is past it. They don't have anyone who is good in that position for me right now, or at least Premier League quality, who does have the pace. I was going to say Aaron Wan-Bissaka for this. However, obviously he's now going to West Ham. So I think Max Aarons from Bournemouth could be a really good option for Everton. He's not really worked at Bournemouth. He's kind of cover. Maybe Everton can get a cheap deal out of him. And if you're a defender, you're always going to improve under Sean Dyche. Aarons, when he was at Norwich, showed that he had some attacking ability. Defensively, he's probably lacking, and I think Sean Dyche could be a perfect opportunity for him to show that he's a Premier League player. After that is Fulham. Now, Fulham desperately need a Paulinho replacement. I like the signings they've been making, but to replace Paulinho is basically impossible for me, especially when you're a club of Fulham's level. He is a top CDM. He was always at the top for the leaderboards in terms of defensive stats like tackles and that. They're really going to miss him. I do think they could have somewhat of a replacement in Sander Berge from Burnley. Now, Berge has obviously been linked to Liverpool and Man United. I don't really see him going there. I think he's probably like a mid-table Premier League player. I think he could do really well at Fulham. After that is Ipswich. Now, I found Ipswich really hard to do because obviously Ipswich have been kind of signing players who have potential, who may be Premier League quality, but if Ipswich go down, this team that they're building will definitely be at the top of the Championship. Players like Greaves, Delap, we haven't seen them in the Premier League. They're unproven. However, they're young and got top potential. So I've tried to fill in a player similar to that kind of style. And I think right wing would be perfect for them. I think Morgan Whittaker from Plymouth has top potential. Obviously, a bit of a risk there. Is he ready? But he was linked to Lazio last year. There's definitely a top player in there. He suits the model, and he definitely doesn't suit Wayne Rooney's model at Plymouth. I think we need to get that player out of that club. I feel sorry for their fans. I don't know why their club hired Wayne Rooney. But yeah, get Morgan Whittaker to Ipswich. He'd be a very, very useful asset for them. Next up is Leicester City. Now, they definitely need an attacker, and I like their links to David Fofana. In fact, I'm saying they should sign David Fofana. He has been a really decent asset for Burnley last season. The goals weren't there, but when you're in that type of team, you're not going to get as many opportunities. However, some of his finishes showed that he's got top finishing. And, Leicester need that. I think he'd be a really good signing. He's young. It'll be really interesting. I think that is a really good one. He had a decent stint at Burnley. He's got that experience, and I think it'd be a good option for all parties. After that is Liverpool. Now, this one's easy. Martin Zubimendi. They need that number 6, a world-class one too. And Zubimendi is a world-class centre mid. He proved himself at the Euros. The Spaniard looks class. He can pass the ball. He's got that physicality though as well. That's really, really important. And he'd be a perfect midfielder for Liverpool to fill in there, that slot, and let all their attackers thrive. Next up is Manchester City. And I really, really think they should go for Mark Gay. Of course, they don't need him right now, but who do they need? They've got so many good players. I'm just trying to think of the present and the future. They have so many fixtures, so they need to keep their starting 11 world-class for all them fixtures. There's going to be pep rotation. We already know that. So why not get in a world-class centre-back in Mark Gay, who's proved how good he is for England and also proved how good he is alongside John Stones. I think they'd form a really good partnership when needed. And Gay, maybe he wouldn't start every game, but I think he'd be class for them. He definitely deserves to be playing for a top Champions League club, top title-winning club for sure. After that is Manchester United. Now, it seems to have fizzled out this, but they really, really should sign Manuel Ugarte. He's a very decent player. He's probably of the level of Man United right now, where, not a title winner, but battling for top 4 every season. He's definitely got that quality. He's got a bit of tenacity, which they're definitely missing. Casemiro is just past it, in my opinion. Definitely need someone else to be able to fill in that slot. And Ugarte can definitely do that for sure. After that is Newcastle. Now, yes, Newcastle are heavily linked to Gay, but I actually don't think that's where they should be looking. I think they should be getting Brian Mbeumo from Brentford. The right winger who can also play up front is just perfect for their style. He's so good as well. He's very underrated. Really filled in when Tony was missing last season for Brentford. Without him, they definitely would have been more involved in that relegation battle. And he's a very good player. He's definitely, he can be in a top half Premier League club for sure. He's fast, he's good on the ball, and he's a good finisher. What else do Newcastle need? They're definitely missing that star right winger. And I think Mbeumo could fill that very, very easily. After that is Nottingham Forest. Now, I think they need like a left wing back and someone who suits their style perfectly and is probably of their level is Alfie Doherty. I think he was massively overrated last season by a lot of fans, but he's definitely a Premier League player. I think he could fill in there perfectly. He's good at set pieces. He would be ideal for the Forest setup under Nuno, where it's a bit defensive, but they've got them wing backs. He'd be really good there. After that is Southampton. Now, they should definitely be going all in for Sam Johnston. Crystal Palace do not want him anymore because he wants to leave. So it's a bit of both. They want Henderson in the number one spot. Johnston doesn't want to be a cover, and Palace are happy to sell him in order to let him carry on playing first team football. So Southampton, their goalies are just not good enough, and they need a proper shot stopper, and not better than Sam Johnston. He's an England international when he's at his best. He's really good at shot stopping, and his distribution is very underrated as well. After that is Tottenham. Now, I obviously had Dominic Solanke before, but now I think they need a winger. They've got some good wingers, but Werner and Johnson, they're just not consistent enough. They just need more depth there. I think someone who would provide the quality, the depth, and the consistency would be Takefusa Kubo. Now, he has been so good for Real Sociedad and for Japan. I think he's destined for a higher level, and I think Spurs would be his great little step for now and see whether he can push on to a high level after that. But it's a very high level already at Spurs, and I think he just perfectly suit Postecoglou's style as well. Near the head now West Ham. They obviously got to Debo, didn't they? So they don't really need that centre-back. However, I still think they should be looking for a centre-back because I think Kilman, he's good, but I don't think he's going to be perfect 38 games a season. I could easily see them find someone else to kind of fill in that spot. I still want them to get another centre-back, which I know people might judge, but I think their team's pretty much complete in terms of signings. So I went for Fikayo Tomori. Now, their CBs aren't good enough. Kilman would need a better partner sometimes. Tadibo would need a better partner sometimes. They don't have Europe this season, but I think Tomori would still be a very, very nice signing for them. Would he go to West Ham? That's the question. But, most of these I think are realistic. I just think, he's been linked to West Ham before as well. So there was that little thought process behind it. So I just thought he'd be quite good there. Finally, Wolves. Now, I think they need a goalkeeper. I think Jose Sarr's not good enough anymore. Their cover goalies are definitely not good enough for the Premier League. I think Aaron Ramsdale would be perfect for them. Some may say he should be going to Southampton, but actually I think he's more of the level of Wolves, a mid-table Premier League club. And more so, Wolves have been in the Premier League for a lot longer, so they can probably offer Arsenal the money that Arsenal want. Southampton would probably be alone. But yeah, Ramsdale would have that distribution they need. He's a good shot stopper most of the time. And he'd be finally playing consistent football because he needs that if he wants to stay in the England squad for sure. Anyways, that has been the video for today. This has been Luke Talks Football. See you later.